We are back, episode 3 of the jaBRO.C. We got a special guest. Let's do it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the jaBRO.C. I'm one half of your host, Topher McCann. We got Mr. Mike Butler over here.
Hello. How are you?
And we have a very special guest here, Mike.
We do.
jaBRO.C. What's up, everybody?
Mr. Dot Mallon. Yes.
Thanks so much for having me on, guys. I'm honored to be the first official guest of what's really an awesome podcast. The jaBRO.C is such a genius idea that you guys threw together. I'm happy to be on. I loved this show when it was on. And before I get into anything, I want to give a thank you to my father, who is a big fan of you guys, big fan of the show. And also, I didn't realize at the time just how much of a saint he was for sitting down and watching this live with me, just so we would have something to watch together. Because I'm watching it now. I'm like, oh, man, that poor man probably was like, what am I doing watching this crap?
He's a great father, just like Sandy Cohen, it sounds like.
Does sound like that a lot.
Dude, I forgot how much I love this show and just everything about it. And like culturally, but like pop culturally, how much was really wrapped up in the show, until this is the first time, I think, since it was live that I've gone back and watched it. Thanks to you guys putting me in a position to do it.
Yeah.
But man, what a great show. And the pilot, awful. Absolutely awful. And I remember watching the pilot and thinking, oh my God, was the show this bad? Was it this like over the top and like so much happened in that quickly? But then as episode 2 and then episode 3 happened, it brought back, all right, no. This is the show that I loved. And I'm enjoying going back through it now.
Yeah, because we were saying the creator originally was saying that the pilot was kind of the first 3 episodes altogether. That was kind of the pilot.
Yeah, I could see that.
And
I could definitely see that.
And that's where it started. I mean, it's that a couple episodes of him getting pulled back and forth and getting introduced to this community. But by the end of the 3rd episode, it's official. Or what was it? The 2nd episode?
It was the 3rd episode is when it was
3rd
officially
episode. It's when it's like, it seems like we're going to start going now and exploring Orange County.
Real quick, which one of you schmucks has got YouTube playing in the background? Because I keep hearing the reverb.
I hear like a little kickback, but I don't have anything on.
I have nothing on.
All right. That's weird. Anyway. I have in my notes like a few times, like, first of all, these OC houses that Kirsten is responsible for building, everybody loves the open concept. Everybody loves a nice open concept home. It's nice feng shui, But here's the problem. There's no privacy. You can't go into a side room and have a conversation with your husband or your wife about whether or not they're going to take in this stray kid without the stray kid just popping in every single time. This poor kid, like every 4 hours, he walks in on like 2 other people having a life-changing conversation about his future. And I can't help but think if this was taking place in Northeast Philly, where every room is just like its own little isolated unit, then this wouldn't happen. He could just be a kid. He could focus on playing video games with Seth. He could focus on how he's going to mac on the hottie next door. And he doesn't have to be privy to all of these serious conversations that really only end up being real for 12 hours before everything gets thrown into another loop. I can't help but think that Kirsten's responsible for this with her absolutely shoddy and short-sighted interior design.
I have to say, when we were me and the wife were watching this, talking about how it holds up, and we were saying for the most part it does, but that was one thing. She was like, look at, like, she was talking about the paint, like the green walls, the paint, and like certain things. She was just like, that is hideous. I don't know who thought that looked good.
That being said, I do have in my notes that I want their kitchen. They have an awesome
kitchen. Is nice. The kitchen's very nice.
The view alone, right? They have the pool, and then beyond the pool, they have the Pacific, or maybe it's something different. I don't know. I guess in the OC, they're all up against the beach. So beautiful, beautiful kitchen. But shame on Kirsten for giving such little thought to Ryan's self-conscious when designing this home. Let's get into it, gentlemen.
All right, so
what
you
did
said.
You guys think?
All right, so you said that one of your first notes was.
Oh, I took a bunch of notes. I'd like to think that my interest in the legal field started with Sandy Cohen.
Why?
Right? I'm watching this, and I remember thinking, oh, man, I forgot how much I loved Sandy Cohen just as like a TV character. And it's been so long since I watched the OC that when I think of like, oh, who are my all-time favorite TV characters? I would have to put Sandy Cohen up there going back and watching this now. And the end of episode 2, the last words in episode 2 were said by Sandy Cohen as Ryan and Luke are both getting arrested. And he goes, officer, I'm his attorney. Please don't ask him any questions until I'm present. Then he looks at Ryan and he goes, keep your mouth shut. And then he looks at Luke and he goes, you too. And then that's the last thing that said. And I go, oh my God, I love you, Sandy Cohen. You just you know how to cut the core of me. I love how he's so in the face of all of the peanut gallery too. And that's really prevalent in episode 3 when everything comes out and it starts being much more public knowledge of the community that, you know, who this kid is, this Ryan kid, and why he's here and what his issues are. And it starts bleeding over into the neighbors. And when they start, you know, there's several scenes where they're going behind each other's, you know, the ladies, the peanut gallery are,
there's noopsies.
They're voicing their concerns, which everybody knows I'm a big fan of the older women. You guys picked a perfect episode for me to come on and talk about. But yeah, there's at least one scene. No, there's 2 scenes where he really just throws it right back in all of their faces and makes them feel uncomfortable. And if there's 2 things in this world, Topher, I know at least you know this about me. If there's 2 things in this world that I love, it's giving people their comeuppance and putting people in socially awkward situations. And he does that a lot in this episode. So I'm a big fan of that, if nothing else.
So I remember saying at the end of our last one, I asked Mike, I was like, I don't know what's up with Ryan. He's going to be in jail. Do you think they're going to press charges against Ryan? And he said, no, I don't think so. And that's what we find out in the beginning here with Sandy meeting up with Ryan, that charges were dropped. But probation hearing is going to be 30 to 60 days. It could be sooner if they find his mother, but if not, he's going to be potentially locked up for the next almost 2 months. Yeah. And this is where Sandy tells him everything's going to be fine. And then Ryan comes back at him with all the things that have gone down the past few days and how I don't think it's going to be fine. Maybe he doesn't want to find his mother, but it ends up where Sandy says he has somebody on it. And for now, Ryan's going to be behind bars for now. Luke is set free. He's got a clean record.
Laissez-faire, hands off, hands free. You know?
Every time we talk about, I feel like Sophia goes nuts.
Sophia got a crush on Luke, dude?
It's a little
bit.
He's got a Luke family over there. They love the Wards.
Are you starting to get a crush on Luke? Because at this point, he's already shown that he's a conflicted character. He's not a one-trick pony that's the heel that you thought he was after episode 1.
Well, I mean, for starters, we have to remember last episode I named Luke as my babyface of the episode. So his momentum is already on the upswing, whereas I believe Marissa was the heel. I think I called.
Yeah, that was the she was the heel of the episode.
What I'm looking for in this episode, or what I did look for in this episode, is how she can get by some of those points back with me. But I was actually left a little bit confused, and we'll get into it during the episode because I'm thinking, leaving episode 2, that Luke and Ryan are like, all right, dude, you're not that bad. I saved your life. You're a misunderstood. I get it. I get you. But I honestly, that was not cleared up for me at all in the episode.
Yeah,
I don't know if Marissa ever wins back her points with me. I remember when I watched this the first time around, I never was big on Marissa. I was huge on Summer. In fact, I think the initial reason why I watched this show is because of how hot Summer was in the commercials, and I was like, I need to get into this. And Rachel Bilson, 100% the heartthrob of my middle school years watching this. She was like my number one crush, celeb crush during this time. Well, her and I guess it'd be a 3-way tie between her, Amy Poehler, and Tina Fey during this year. Yeah, for sure. But
I have to say that everything you just said about
Christina Milian, I'm sorry, there's a 4-way tie.
Everything he just said about Christina Milian, Amy Poehler, Tina Fey, and Rachel Bilson, I double that, but just sub them out for Benjamin McKenzie.
Oh, another thing. In the pilot episode, I'm hating how over the top his like I know you guys talked about like, who are you? Whoever you want me to be.
Oh, great.
But after that, when he's like, I stole a car. My brother got arrested.
Oh yeah.
I didn't have anywhere to go.
Oh dude, should we do?
And it's like, all right, dude, relax.
Dude, he's so awesome.
But you know what? It's the pilot, and you see that in pretty much every network TV show. Everything in the pilot is so much over the top. And then once they get through the pilot or the first couple episodes, then you really get a feel for what the show's trying to do. There's so many good scenes for his acting, specifically in episode 3. And we'll get into it because I know you're going on like a breaking down the episode, but he really showed me at least that I could buy into his acting in episode 3. I don't know if you guys thought that.
I can't say a bad thing about Ryan. He's my favorite character. I really can't. I try to almost not say it, but I'm not like you already said it. I was never a fan of Marissa, and as the show goes on, like you already said, winning points back. I feel like every decision she makes always is the wrong decision, and it's always about somebody else and not who it should be about. Whenever she's with Ryan, it's always about somebody else who comes into it, and her focus is more on them than where it should be, and that goes out throughout the entire show.
See, now that's a shame because obviously on our first episode, I was saying how Marissa's just a sweetheart, and how when I'm comparing her to Summer, I'm not all about Summer, but I'm all about Marissa. The way you guys are talking is making me think that Summer may have a shot here to overlap Marissa as the sweetheart of the show.
Well, in my opinion, if that wasn't obvious the first time she comes on screen, then I don't know if that's going to change for you, because she more or less stays the same character. She becomes more endearing, but she doesn't necessarily change the core of her character as the series goes on. You just have more and more reasons to like her in that role.
She becomes more likable in the first season, I think.
That's what. So
she's very not. I think Tom's going more off of like looks in the beginning. Like besides that, we both agreed. Me and Mike were saying so far, like she's just like a ditzy brunette who's just kind of like, and she wasn't even a regular on the show until like I think the 9th episode or so. So far to me, still, I'm not really a fan of her up to this point.
Well, I mean, she's just like the one thing that we all forget is that they're playing like 16, 17-year-olds in this, right? So she's like that entitled rich kid that doesn't really have any reason to think about anything other than like the party in front of her at this time. And I don't know if that necessarily changes by the end of the first season, but you already see that she goes from being like disgusted by Seth to at least wanting to hang out with him, even if she doesn't know his name. So you can see that that's moving towards the direction that you think it's going to move into.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think, she's pretty much stays the same throughout the season. As far as I remember, I don't know. I was so blinded by how much I'm in love with her at this point that I just,
And then, oh yeah.
Speaking of which, hold on real quick. Did you know that she and Melinda Clark have their own podcast about the OC?
I was just about to ask. You can watch it on HBO Max
after each episode.
Yes, okay, I was gonna ask if anyone has checked it out because I have not.
I've checked out some of the ones with Tate Donovan, Peter Gallagher. I watched the 2 with Adam Brody on it. Today I actually watched the one with it's Zach. He's a season 2 character, and he's one of the most likable people, I think. Like, just he has nothing but charisma, and he just seems like the coolest person in the world. So I actually watched that this morning. So look for that. Zach Attack season 2. I won't get to you right now. It's not Zach Morris. It's not Zach Morris.
I feel like it's Zach Morris now.
Oh, dude, if it was MPG, dude. Nah, not yet. Not yet.
So how are we moving? I feel bad. I'm all over the place here because I'm just so excited to be here.
The only thing is they teased Ryan getting violated in prison by some of these men.
See,
before the theme song.
I remember that part, and I understand that you feel that way. I don't see it the way you see it. I don't feel like that was being led.
No, Sandy looked at him. They made eye contact. Then he got pushed, and then Sandy has this look on his face and just turns and starts walking forward. And the way they pushed him and pulled his head, and he went forward.
He went forward. Now, if they were to push him up against a wall, that would be different. But they just pushed him forward. Sandy could be looking at him like, damn, he's about to go.
Let's not forget the guards at this juvie really don't have their hand on the pulse.
Terrible.
They're really bad.
And that's not even just when they're dealing with prisoners. This is when they have guests of prisoners in the juvie, in the visitation center. They got multiple so I'm jumping a little bit ahead here. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but let's just say these guards suck.
Yeah.
I don't know who's paying them. They got, money for Bellinis during the peanut gallery, meetings, but they don't got money for proper guards at the juvie. I just don't see it.
But yeah, it actually works. The peanut gallery, the Noopsies, that's how the episode starts after our opening credits, where it's a casino night, Vegas night. They're planning their next big event.
And therein lies the problem. Is it casino night? Is it Vegas night? Is it Monte Carlo night? Melinda Clark? In the words of Melinda Clark, this is a travesty.
Yeah, dude, you can't have 2 black tie events in the same calendar month.
You can't. I put it on my notes. You can't do it.
You can't do that.
Oh man, yeah, I literally put no 2 black tie events in the same month, and then the peanut gallery is amazing.
Yeah, because I remember I wrote casino night a lot, and then when the event gets there, I saw the big bright thing that said Vegas night, and I was like, "What the fuck? I thought it was casino night."
Maybe that's like a deeply embedded joke within the show. Is like there was still internal conflict within the peanut gallery between the last time that we checked in on the status of this event and when it finally got to the end game.
This very well could be the case. They already ordered the fluorescent, what was it, casino or Vegas night lighting, so it happens. We also find out, all this planning going along, that Seth is grounded, punished, and he cannot he can't do anything, and he's being very pouty. But
no 4 walls can contain him. He's Seth freaking Cohen, and he knows how to sail boats. He's gonna get out of there, and he's gonna get his ass to juvie.
Seth freaking Cohen is great.
So he's grounded, and that's how it starts. But very quickly, he's out the door, and he's trying to get his ass over to juvie to visit Ryan. And what happens? What happens to the man?
Oh yeah, because he gets caught, right? He keeps trying to sneak. He tries to
He's
slip out.
sneaking out because he thinks everybody's in the living room area.
Yes,
Kirsten's out there trying to avoid these women herself, and catches them. And he guilt trips her into going with him to visit Ryan in juvie. And she's all the happier to find a reason to get away from the peanut gallery. So
Yes,
cuts to her getting them out of there, and then
I want to cut
shoot it up to the minimum security prison.
Right before that, right before Sandy leaves, he has a great line where he's getting ready to leave, and he says, "All right, I'm going to be getting out of here. I got to find the next kid to jeopardize the community. Maybe a black kid or an Asian." And then they just cuts to all of them just like, and then he's just smirking and then just goes on his way.
What a boss. What a boss cat. Boss cat Sandy Cohen, am I right?
And then
Bearcat Sandy Cohen.
He, like you said, he has some great moments in this episode, and soon enough we'll get another one. But yes, we're back now at the security. They have to sign in.
No, hold on. First. There's the scene that 13-year-old me was so invested in, where Seth stops over before he goes to the juvie. He stops over to pick up Marissa, see if she would want to stop over as well and take a visit. And he walks in on Marissa in her room with a topless Summer, who's just hanging out with the twins, just chilling in a bra on network television on a Sunday or Monday night, whenever it was. God bless the Fox network for allowing that to be so, because that's really what drew me in, right? Rachel Bilson, looking hot. And I was probably at the time just as flabbergasted as Seth was when he walked up to the door. What a terrible father, right? Marissa's dad just walks this kid up to the room, sees that Summer is at abroad, is just like, all right, I'm going to go figure out my own financial woes.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of things on his plate that he can hardly handle his own business, let alone his own kids. So
anyway, Seth sees Summer in a bra, and he's flabbergasted, as are we all. But Summer wants no, or I'm sorry, Marissa wants no business in going to visit Ryan after he turned down her request for a night of passion. Because let's be honest here. That's what happened. It happened. She went over there. She was looking for that, we only have tonight. And he's like, no, I'm a gentleman. I'm a brooding gentleman. And I think she was a little butthurt about it. I mean, wouldn't you be, Topher, if Benjamin McKenzie turned you down?
Yeah, I would be. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it at all. It's pretty upsetting.
Anyway, had to mention that scene, but
and then we also see there's another cutscene of Ryan getting messed with getting tripped with his lunch in prison, and then the dude grabs the fork. He's like, "You messing with me? You disrespecting me?" He's just like, "Yeah, he didn't do anything at all." It's
the classic scene, whether it happens in a prison or a high school. I mean, I'm pretty sure the exact same thing happened in Cobra Kai.
He can't. Yeah, just
a classic scene.
We're just building this up. So we have finally Seth and Kirsten come to visit Ryan. They're Seth and Ryan start talking, and we have our man in the corner over there, kind of.
Which apparently nobody's even visiting this guy. He doesn't have any visitors. He's chilling in the visitation room, just hitting on random guests with zero monitoring from the security. Even after he's like scrapping with him. Unbelievable. Where are these taxpayers? Like these, that's what I'm saying. These highfalutin Bellini drinking Oceanites. Oceagons?
Oceagons.
Got all this money for Bellinis, but they don't have taxpayer money for the juvie for the kids. What about the babies? Right?
But yeah, the hero complex comes in, which is I think the story arc of Ryan Atwood. Soon enough, I think you'll see is like he has a hero complex where he does and nothing happens until finally he calls Kirsten a bitch, and then that's when he grabs a dude, fight breaks out, and then
At that point, is it even a hero complex? I mean, it's doing the right thing. That's what it is. It's kind of like Batman. Some people necessarily is Batman a hero? No, but is he he does the right thing? You know what I'm saying?
you'll see what I mean when we're done this show.
Yeah, he kind of.
He has a hero complex. He always has to even
But
go.
I
He always
dig it,
gets,
man. I
yeah.
dig
It's
it.
it's the same thing where like Marissa's always with someone and then involved with somebody else shenanigans. He always needs to be saving somebody. That's like his. That's
It's his
what
gift
we're
and his
gonna.
curse.
Yes.
You know how many times I got my ass kicked trying to be a hero when I shouldn't have? I think there's a hero in all of us. It's just that we need to know when the hero is being real and when we're just trying to be looking for the spotlight. You know what I mean? And sometimes Ryan might just be looking for the spotlight, but I don't think that's happening yet. I think right now he's still a good guy.
Because it looks bad, and then we cut to Sandy pulling up in the driveway back to the Cohen house, and then he hears video games getting played. He walks down. He's like, Seth, I said no video games. He looks, and Ryan's sitting next to Seth playing video games, and he's like, oh. And then it's revealed that they go in and they have the conversation in the kitchen where anyone can walk in and come listen, like was stated.
She's like, are we good? Like, what am I going to say no now? Like, what a checkmate move, Kirsten. Thanks a lot, jerk. But I like how Sandy's initial thought at this point isn't good. We get what we want. It's you can't keep doing this to this kid. You can't keep giving him false hope and then like placing him somewhere else. And he has the foresight to realize that, like, even in prison, at least it's something that he can wrap his head around and kind of start to move forward. You keep putting him from A to B and B to F and F to X. Like, he's not going to have a linear path to follow. And I remember thinking that even then, like, it's kind of funny because it's like, oh, this whole time that's what Sandy wants. And then he finally gets it. And he's like, whoa, wait, what? But just another reason to love Sandy, right? But again, what I was saying earlier, poor Ryan just trying to be a good boy and clean his plate, put his plate away, realizes like, oh, maybe I shouldn't unpack. And Kirsten's like, God damn it. Yeah. Every time I try to do something nice, man.
we keep teasing it. It's got to keep getting teased. So we have the next day where they have to set up for casino night, Vegas night. So it's going to be Ryan and Seth go with Kirsten. And soon enough, we see like Marissa's there, Luke's there, and it's every single time. They're like two dogs walking down the street. Ryan and Luke, it's just like, and then Kirsten always has to come up like, is everything fine here, boys?
Yeah, and like, I don't understand that. I get that they don't like each other, but like, guys, get your heads out of your asses and start thinking with your dicks. You're both at the MILF convention here. You right? The MILF.
Pretty serious
MILF
stuff.
Convention. I wrote that down. I was like, why are they so angry? Everywhere they look, there's hot middle-aged women that are like super interested in both of them, and they're just like fighting with each other over Marissa.
I know.
Are you
right?
kidding me?
What are we doing here, guys?
She's not even top 5, but I will say Melinda Clark might be the one that got me in the MILFs.
It's true, and I said this, like, I didn't like her look in the first few episodes when she goes like that orangish hair and coming up soon.
Yeah.
Come on here. Let's go.
Love me some Melinda Clark. And Mike, I think this is going to be I can't wait until something that happens in the later seasons happens with Melinda. And I'm not going to maybe I don't want to say too much. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to say anymore. But Melinda is a cougar in all sense of the words. Right? And I think you're going to like I think you're gonna like Melinda as we go, or I think you're gonna like
That's
Marissa's mom.
Yeah.
Marissa's mom. You might like her dad too. I don't know.
I mean, I do have a little soft spot for her dad, but
Yeah, even
totally,
though
totally
he's-
not about this show.
I don't know if it was episode 3 or not, but her dad sucks. And here's why. I get that he's sad, upset, looking for an answer, doesn't know what he's going to do with his career. But there's one scene where he's sitting on the couch watching ESPN Classic. And, like, I get it. I love watching old basketball games. I'm a basketball junkie. But this man is way too invested in the Lakers beating the Pistons and was talking about the game like, he saved it for us. Like, my man, did you get a ring? Were you on the team? Get your head out of your ass and go make some money.
See, now here's the deal. That was the last episode where Kirsten inexplicably decided to like just throw 100 G's at him. So I think that was him just weight off his shoulders. He's got the money to get out of whatever trouble he's in.
You know what? I'm going to double down. Because the weight is off his shoulders when he pays that money back. This lazy bum figures out some rich X that he can hit up to get his ass out of his unilaterally made financial woes, and then suddenly he's got time to watch 30-year-old basketball games? Are you kidding me? Get on that phone, make some money, and pay that money back. You're a financial advisor watching ESPN Classic. Unbelievable.
Is that what he
I
does?
hate him.
Is that what he does? He's a financial advisor?
Yeah, that's why he lost.
No idea.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's why everybody's always asking him how business is. Yeah, man. I mean, obviously, I'm just, trying to be funny. But seriously, at the same time, that scene pissed me off. I'm like, this dude, it should be a sign of things to come. This man, this isn't a one-time mistake. This guy clearly has a pattern of bad decision-making that we are about to see unfold right before our very eyes. I hate him.
Yeah.
I hate him. And I'm just so jealous. I'm so jealous. Anyway.
Want to talk about that scene at the coffee shop where Sandy catches Julie and her little
Julie Cooper. That's it. That's the name. Yeah, so they're peanut gallerying, as the peanut gallery do. They're peanut gallerying. And Sandy is there eating a bagel or a muffin, and oh no, he's just having a coffee. He's about to eat a muffin, and I'm actually really embarrassed for the note that I wrote there. But he overhears them talking bad on him and how Sandy is a menace to the community for bringing all these undesirables into their neighborhood, and
hope they have a vault for their jewelry and all that stuff.
So he walks, and this is, again, what I love about Sandy. He finds a way to put people in their place by creating, in public, an uncomfortable situation where they have to eat their words or make a scene to defend themselves. And that's exactly what he did. He walks over, he goes, look, I get it. I understand, but I'm just sad. I mean, Julie, didn't you come from a piece of shit neighborhood just like him? Like, you should know better than anybody. And the look on her face like, I've been exposed. Yeah. But here's the best part. While he's putting her in her place, he leans in and he takes that MILF's muffin. Literally leans over, takes a piece of her muffin off the table and eats it.
Fingers
Not
in
what
it.
You were thinking, you dirty dog. But
he sticks his fingers right in it.
Just out here taking MILF's muffins, putting them in their place. I love it. I don't know. That was another winner scene for me as far as him. But once he
yeah,
what was the next scene after that?
After that, we see a little bit of Ryan and Kirsten kind of bonding, where he's talking about the Newport group, and he says that he did construction and that he knows. So kind of that he's it's bright. Something we're reminded in the pilot episode when Sandy goes over. He's like, "You're a bright kid. Your SAT scores are great." So it's kind of just this little bonding moment between Kirsten and Ryan for a little bit, and then this leads to
Well, and in that moment, Kirsten's starting to see what Sandy has been trying to tell her, that there is something
Exactly.
special about him, that there's specific upside to him. It's not that he just has potential, it's that he has a lot of potential and a lot of avenues that he can go down. And she, in this scene, is seeing very clearly one avenue where she has a lot of resources and a lot of networking options where she can really help him along and not just be a place for him to flop. Like, she's starting to think she's got the the gears working in her mind that, like, oh, I might be able to help this kid too. He seems like he has an actual desire as well as the knowledge to do something in construction and land development. And you see that it's not just that she sees that he's a good kid, but that she might have a specific, unique way to be able to bond with him as well. And then it all gets taken away again. Or so we think.
Yeah, because this is where we have a big scene with Julie and Jimmy where Mike, you were debating a while about the history of what Jimmy and Kirsten, because it was they knew each other, they grew up, but finally Julie says in this, like, that they dated when they were younger. And this is where it's revealed where he got the $100,000 from. And he lets her know that Kirsten gave the money, and this is the big blow up between them.
Yeah. I like to actually jump to when Kirsten and Sandy are talking about it, because it's funny, and it's only funny because we were just talking about their kitchen and the lack of privacy they have. But here's Sandy tearing into Kirsten about this loan. And
interest-free loan.
Right. And you have Jimmy coming in out of nowhere during, like, mid-conversation, wanting to apologize to Sandy. And Sandy's, like, upset that he interrupted the private conversation when you have a fucking kitchen that has zero privacy whatsoever, having this private conversation in the middle of a fucking fundraiser. I just thought that was a little funny.
Also, during the casino night, and like, this is something that you see throughout the series, like, somebody's always, like, conversations are always being had at the worst possible moment. There's always, like, the person they're talking about just happens to be lurking behind the what's it called, the slot machine. It's like, oh, Marissa's talking to Ryan. Luke just happens to be there looking over his shoulder. Well, Marissa goes to talk to Luke. Oh, Ryan just happens to be there. Like, motherfucker, can you at least, like, keep your head on a swivel if you're going to talk about somebody?
That happens every single time it happens.
Yeah.
And then this is kind of, and we don't have to go see my scene with it, but this is where Sandy finds Dawn, Ryan's mom. She's working on a laundromat, and ends up where he gets to she gets frazzled. She drops the quarters. She wants to know how he is, though, and they end up coming back to the Cohen home, and Ryan sees her, and she's kind of like back into the mix. They have dinner, and then she's invited to go to casino night. But it almost looks like at that point they're going to get ready to go. Like, Dawn and Ryan are just like, all right, thanks for having us. And, like, but Kirsten kind of says, like, no, like, you guys just got here. You don't have a place to stay yet. They're having the casino night. Like, stay, and invites her to it, I basically.
And I loved that scene between Ryan and his mom when they're back in the pool house, just the two of them. And he's really calling her out on it, and she's saying all of the things that you would expect her to say, and then when she mentions how, like, when he got arrested, she just felt like she failed, not because she failed him, but because she always felt like a failure, but she felt like the one thing she did right was him. And then when that happened, it was her last hope, felt like it was out the door, and that hit him because it was like, yeah, I can understand that. And I don't know, it felt, not to say that it felt real, but it felt more emotionally deep than what you expect when you're dealing with all this petty surface drama throughout the first 3 episodes, you know.
Mm-hmm. And where's that?
But yeah, then once again, poor Ryan, he gets a little bit of hope, and then it all comes crashing down.
Yeah, because it really this leads to our Vegas night here, where Dawn's there. She's all dressed up. There's some funny scenes here because Kirsten shows up and Julie sees it. Kirsten compliments the dress and she's like, "Oh, thanks. It's yours." So everything is snarky now because it's just this, like you just said, this is going to be a disaster here.
See, this is why I never want to go to Las Vegas. Nothing good ever happens in Vegas night. Every time you see them do a Vegas night in any TV show, it's always bad. Always ends up bad.
The house always loses. The Cohen house and the Cooper house. And any other houses? But yeah, we got Dawn's counting cards.
The Kirsten's development. That definitely loses big time.
Burn it down. Seth freaking Cohen.
Burn.
But yeah, Dawn's counting cards at this charity event.
Not illegal.
And then she gets a tonic.
It's for lime
first. Originally, she's not drinking. She's got her tonic. Lime. Subtle. It's subtle. But then all of a sudden, she ordered a 7 and 7, which is this is why I always drink 7 and 7s. It's an Atwood thing. It's also a McCann thing. Then that switches also to like the champagnes going around. She's getting rocked.
Yeah, once the champagne goes down, you see her change real quick, and Kirsten tries to talk to her on the DL about it, and like without blowing up her spot or embarrassing her or telling her that she's got to leave, basically just saying like, yeah, I know it's tough, I caught you slip, but like, just it is what it is. Enjoy the rest of the night, but at that point it's too far gone. So poor Ryan sees her slip or sees her bump into a waiter.
Oh yeah, right before we get to that though.
Oh yeah.
That's because you said Sandy gets pulled away. That's because right before there, Julie goes up to Sandy and thanks him for the $100,000, knowing that he has no idea about it.
Well, I don't know if I think she mentioned it to him to gauge his reaction, and engaging his reaction, realized he had no idea this whole time.
And he still played it off pretty cool.
Can't take it with you. Because you know why? Because he's got a great poker face, because he's a great attorney, because he's a great man, and I love him. Sandy freaking Cohen.
And that's later on when he's talking to Kirsten, and Jimmy finds out that what she did and goes over, and he turns around and he's like, "I'm trying to have a conversation with my wife." And you're just like, "Oh,
my wife."
Okay. But I mean, now we can, if you want, Dawn did spear a waiter through a table, so there is.
It was like a back body drop.
It was
like she like turned, but then like her arm just like back clotheslined him and then kind of just fell with him.
Mamma mia.
It's like a beauty.
It was Mamma mia.
Poor Ronaldo. Wonder what he's doing.
We also mentioned the fact that this night also is like the first night that Summer kind of acknowledges Seth. Still doesn't know his name.
Oh my God! Yeah,
it was like a running joke.
He got his foot in the door on this night with Summer, and I think that's a huge step for him.
He blows her.
He blows her several times, but let's provide some context.
Like subtle little jokes. She goes and tells him to blow on these, not putting up the dice. He looks at her boobies and is thinking like she wants him to blow on her boobies, which is so, who hasn't blown on boobies, So the interaction between those two tonight, or on casino night rather, put in the door for Seth.
Yeah, it really. Yeah, I mean, he's on the radar.
Well, and it seemed like he genuinely brought her a lot of luck. This woman was rolling like 5-6 in a row off of just him kind of standing there. So there's something there. If you believe in fate, if you believe in, greater beings at work, both in reality and in the scripted reality of the OC, I think they're meant to be. I think the stars are in alignment, and if you can look over my shoulder here in the background, as you can see, I'm on the beach with the cast, but they're already in love. They don't know it yet, but they are.
There's also a scene where Ryan goes up to Luke and just says, like, she chose you. She wants to be with you.
Who cares
kinda
about
just-
this storyline, man?
Just kind of walks away.
I don't care about Marissa, man. They didn't do nothing in this episode really of note for me. That's just like, they got back together. I think. I don't even know.
I think
slow your roll, Kemosabe. It's a long season.
Yeah,
How many episodes are in the season?
I know. I'm just saying in this episode they've done nothing of note, so kind of Marissa is still kind of on my bad side. Luke is not really on my bad side because Marissa's. I would get why Luke is fucking pissed.
But you know what? It does more than nothing because it doesn't progress anything for Marissa or Luke as much, but it progresses Ryan yet again. It shows one more reason why he's a gentleman and why he's selfless, because he likes Marissa and he knows that if he wanted to be selfish and if he wanted to manipulate it, he could probably get Marissa. But he sees that they got a good thing going. She wants to be with him, and that Ryan feels like he's just a distraction. So he's like, you know what? I can make this real easy right now and just go lie to Luke and tell Luke, hey, you know what? She chose you. No, she didn't. But Luke doesn't need to know that. And this 17-year-old kid is making adult-like decisions well beyond his years.
But yeah, like he said, he goes over and holds her hand. So it's kind of insinuated for now, like they're on good terms because we have Dawn walking out with Ryan and the Cohens, and that's not looking good. They sleep it off. The next morning, Ryan's sleeping, and Dawn's getting her stuff together, and it looks like she's getting ready to leave Ryan again. Kirsten catches this, and they have a dialogue between each other, which basically just leads to, like, Kirsten really has no say. It's just like Dawn's like,
right?
You'd be a better mother.
Yeah.
And it's like not even giving her an option. She's just like, you're great. Like, you guys will give them a better life. And it's just like, wow, like they're not volunteering for this, but
right? Dawn sucks. And like
Yeah.
Kirsten was just telling like Dawn, you realize Kirsten was just telling you can't do this, meaning like you got to tell your son you're leaving. You can't just walk out without giving him an explanation again. And she's like, no, I'm not built for this. You're a better mom than me. You just deal with it.
Like, I know I'm a better mom than you.
And then she's like, oh, it's the one good thing that I'll do for him. Like, what? Like, dumping him on me? Like, oh my God.
It was a setup. That was the one good thing. It was a setup, forcing Kirsten to be like, shit, now I really have to take this kid in. That was the last good thing.
Because they don't even speak anymore, Ryan and his mom at that point. There's just a way.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't know if he really fully got it.
Exactly.
He seemed like he was confused. Like, and it's funny too because you spend all of the first 3 episodes, and he's like, so not mature, like trying to be mature for his age, and seems like he grew up quick, even if he's still a kid making stupid mistakes because of the situations that he's in. But when he woke up and he like walks out and waves goodbye, like kind of confused, and then I might be jumping ahead just a little bit, but after Sandy and Kirsten have the conversation, and once again,
this is where we're at.
Okay, but once again, Ryan walks in and hears the news, but I felt like I literally was beaming when he walks in. He goes, I guess I'll unpack later.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ear to ear smile, like
Right?
in my mouth, man. I tell you,
And you see him smile with the big smile, and you're just like, all right, here we go.
And in that moment, I felt like he was coming across as a 17-year-old kid that's just so relieved to literally just have a place to crash. You know what I mean? Instead of like this young adult that like you feel bad for him because of all these absolutely chaotic, unrealistic like situations that we would never be in ourselves, but then you just see like this kid is just like finally has a place where he feels secure. And even though, yeah, it's like there's so much more, like it's not like I guess what I'm trying to say is the show, the reason why it was so big at the time and the reason why it had such longevity is because it had moments like this. It wasn't just necessarily like, oh, it's great for up and coming music if you can get on there, or oh, it's great like there's hot characters that are always partying or on the beach looking hot. Like once you got into it, the character development and the relationships really suck you in. And Benjamin McKenzie, I forgot just how good of a job he does at really portraying a complex character that at any given scene in any given episode has to be a grizzled from the streets, tough guy, or this like beaten youth that you need to feel sympathetic for. And he really pulls it off in both roles at any given time.
Oh, sorry. He's literally like my all-time favorite TV character.
And then there's Sandy, who's mine.
And I love Sandy too, but
That's a given.
And you know what's funny? I realized that my other favorite is Saul Goodman. Both lawyers. Go figure. One last thing. I forget if I mentioned it before or after we were recording, but I love, maybe even more than the intro theme, I love the sound or the song that they play, like the quick snippet song at the end credits.
I believe Christopher Ting, I think, does the.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe it's what it is. The score. I was listening to it. When I was going through stuff for this, trying to find closing songs that were similar to it, like something like that. But
look at you knowing shit.
I know too much about this show.
But that's how it ends. That's how the episode ends.
And then also just when you were saying all these things about the show, another great thing about the show is the very end of each episode. It's always that song. They were great at picking a song to close out the episode with the small montage. They did it the best, and then other shows tried to copy it so much and steal songs as well, but it was always the best on the OC.
The music in, like you said, in the end montage, and then as the show got more and more popular and became more of a staple to the network over time, it really became a major platform for young bands to get their name out there. So much so that for the people that watched it at the time, if you remember, they had at the end of each season like the best of the OC season 1, and it would be maybe a good 30-35 songs of all of the best songs that got played and sampled on the show. And that was really before digital and MP3 and all. I mean, this was pretty much simultaneous with when live streaming became a thing, but it was still so spotty and shady that a lot of people were not cool with doing that and getting viruses on their computer. So they were still buying CDs and still
their soundtracks were huge. Music from the OC, mix 1, 2, 3, 4. They did like 5 of them, and they were all really good. The first one is so good. It's one of my favorites, but the music on the show is amazing. And they're going to be coming up concert stories from some of these bands that have been on the show that I ended up going to see. One I saw in a tiny church in Philadelphia, like the smallest church ever.
In the basement? Was the Unitarian Church?
First Unitarian Church, yeah.
Dude, that place is I mean, it feels like you're going to like a grade school dance.
Yes.
You're literally in like the
stage is like only the size of the screen about high, and they're right there.
But it's cool.
Yes, it was a very, very cool experience. At the end of each episode, Mike, we find our most favorite person, our baby face, if you will, and then our most hated person, our heel.
This was a tough one because there's, like I said, earlier, it not much really changed. So I'm gonna go heel first, and I would say, I mean, Ryan's mom. Her name escapes me right now.
Kirsten. Oh, Dawn.
No, real mama.
Real
Mama.
Bio mom.
Dawn, right? Dawn.
Dawn, yes. That's.
I mean, just for basic shitty mom stuff, or lack thereof being a mom.
Oh, she's got a disease.
I mean, so do I apparently. Like so. It's
Is that why you're a shitty dad? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not that shitty.
I'm just messing, buddy.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, she's obviously I think go to heel really. Babyface, I'm gonna go I'm gonna be a little interesting here. I'm going to go Summer, and here's why I'm going Summer, because she allowed Seth to get that foot in the door a little bit. Doesn't matter who he was, didn't matter. Sure, she used him for her own personal gain, but I feel like that's going to open up a door for those two, maybe. So I'm gonna give her a break. I'm gonna give her the base of the episode.
We'll go next, and my heel, I'm gonna go thumbs up and thumbs down, because I think that with the OC, you're not gonna see heels and baby faces. You're gonna see a lot of shades of gray. But my thumbs down goes to the entire juvenile court system in Ocean County or Orange County.
Yeah.
Thumbs down and wagging the finger to you and your lack of security, both for your own inmates and for innocent civilians that are just coming to pay respects. And a tip of the cap and a thumbs up to Mr. Seth freaking Cohen. Because this kid is constantly guided by his heart, and to a fault. But also, the reason why he is so clearly the best friend to Ryan. And, look, this kid has the resources, the time, and the motivation to make sure that Ryan has everything he needs when he needs it most. And, it's to a fault when he's following Summer in creepy, to creepy lengths. But this guy, he goes 100% with everything that he cares about. So for that reason, I like him. And I think that might have been why, Mike, you didn't like him in the first episode, because it comes off way more as him being neurotic and annoying at first to get the point across. But I think by the third episode, you see how those qualities start to work in his favor more and more, and how he starts to be embraced by those around him more and more for that. And even Marissa, when he goes to pull her into the trip to go visit Ryan, she's embarrassed that she doesn't have that same level of loyalty and desire to go see Ryan that he does. So I think more and more the reasons why you initially didn't like him are going to start to be the reasons why you do. But for that reason, he is my thumbs up and tip of the cap.
Yeah, it's the heel of this episode's Dawn. I mean,
she has a disease, man. She's trying.
It's cut down the middle.
If she was up to her, she was going to bounce again.
Yeah, I agree. There's for our heel and faces, it's only this episode. We can't do any other bias, so it's just for this episode. She has to take it here, and I think this is going to be a theme for mine. I mean, the face of this episode is Ryan Atwood. Like, come on, it's always going to be Ryan. He's just so mature.
He's the John Cena of the show.
Yeah, he defends Kirsten's honor. How dare you call her a bitch? He goes to Luke and says, hey, she wants you. Just, you won. You're the better man. He's just more mature. And he's bonding with Kirsten. I mean, he is trying to better himself from what we see in this pilot episode. And
even the way that he handles Dawn when she embarrasses him. When she's like, oh, did I embarrass you? He's like, nah, I love you, Mom.
Yeah, he's very, I don't know. He's very, like you said, the John Cena of the OC. It's great. It's just a beautiful face. Beautiful face. And also, he's my face. All right.
Well, what do you say? We wrap it up?
That is yeah, so that wraps up episode 3. So next week we will be on to episode 4, the debut. It's cotillion time. It's another event. So again, you guys can check out.
Jeez.
But it will not be black tie because you can't have 2 black tie events in 1 month.
This is true.
Shout
so
out
you guys,
to
of
Peanut
course,
Gallery.
can check out the episode, watch it beforehand. It's on HBO Max. No commercials there, and it's also on
And Hulu if you like the commercials.
If you like commercials,
it's on Hulu.
And
also, guys, while you're there, check out the OC podcast with big friends of the show, Melinda Clark and Rachel Bielson, who big fans of ours, and obviously we're big fans of them as well. So you can check that out as well and compare and contrast theirs to ours, and let us know in the comments what you think.
Yeah, soon enough we'll be underneath there as an option. It'll be the female episode and the male version. And then also, if you're not watching this, we're on Twitch every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, and then we debut on YouTube and all podcast providers on Friday, 10 a.m. So if you don't catch us on Twitch, the replay's there, but you can also watch it on YouTube, or if you want to listen to the podcast, it's also available. So, I mean, that's about it. Mr. Don Mallon, he on bodyslam.net here and there. He's doing the push with Cassidy Haynes. You guys have some episodes coming up?
Yeah, I mean, I've taken a step back the past few months, but now that my schedule's getting a little bit more laid back, I want to get back into it. Also, Cass, the Hefe bodyslam.net was nursing a really serious back injury. Anybody who's a fan of Body Slam or a friend of Cass knows that he had I don't think he cares if I spill his news a little bit, but he had a herniated disc, which anybody who's familiar with that injury, it's impinging on a nerve, meaning there's radiculopathy, which completely changes the injury. It goes from being a painful injury to an absolutely debilitating injury. So that put him on the shelf for a few months, but with physical therapy and rehab, he's back to the point where he's doing shows again now. And between that and me having some free time, we're hoping we're going to get some more interviews back on the push, which is our main driving focus, is interviewing people. But hopefully we'll get some episodes back on, just he and I, just shooting the shit again, and have you guys on as well. In the meantime, I always love coming on the jabronis whenever you will have me. So I'm available. I'm around. Absolutely. Even when I'm on the beach in the OC.
Yeah, so also, yeah, jabronis every weekend. Jabronis is out, and we already plugged jaBRO.C. At the end of every episode, Dom, you're going to have the honors. You're the guest here. Luke had the famous line, "Welcome to the OC, bitch." So we just throw our title in there instead. And that's how we close out each episode. So if you want, you can have the honors.
Welcome to the jaBRO.C, bitch.